All right. Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's shiur should be Le'ilu Nishmas, our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka Bas Gavriel Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dova Cohen, and B'schos the Refuah Shalema Bekarov Meshalem ben Sarachel, and Miriam Bas Sarah. Today, we are on page 404 in the Ora Vigdor, for those who are following along. And today we're going to talk about a couple of more of the 10 levels of Bitachon that Rabbeinu Bachaya finishes off Shaar HaBitachon with. And like we said yesterday, the 10 levels are there so that, first of all, we can identify where we stand currently on this ladder of Bitachon. And secondly, so that we can have a kind of a milestone or goal of where to reach out to. That we're not just wildly trying to grab and lie to ourselves that we're on a certain level or that we have Bitachon or we don't have Bitachon. It's not a one or the other. And that's what he's trying to finish off over here, Rabbeinu Bachaya, is that Bitachon has these 10 levels. You can strive for better. You don't have to strive for one thing just for the end goal, and then if you don't make it, you say, oh, forget it. And that's what he's talking about. So yesterday, we spoke about the first 5 levels. The first 5 levels pertained to a person's perception of the world and the inhabitants of it, and nothing to do yet with Hashem. That this person who we said has bitachon in something or someone, not necessarily Hashem, and this person is starting to grow, is getting older, he's becoming more mature, he's starting to understand and realize the nuances and how the world works, and he's getting closer to that part where Hashem is the one in charge. So we started off yesterday, we said when he was a baby, he's just born, all he knows is all he wants is food. That's sustenance. The only thing he wants is sustenance, right? And he knows he gets stuff from his mother by nursing. Then he gets a little older, he realizes that it's his mother feeding him. So he puts his trust in his mother. He gets a little older, he realizes his father's the one who goes out to work every single day, and his mother is the one who gets supported by the father and who feeds him, and so he puts his trust in his father. Then he realizes, when he gets a little older, he's a teenager now, hey, I can go out to work, I can use my own abilities, I'm a big kid now, I can make my own money, and he puts his trust in himself. Once he goes out into the real world, on this 5th level, he realizes that, I know I could do things, I can wash cars, stuff like that, but what I need is customers. I need people to actually utilize my services. And so he's starting to realize that he needs people. Today, we go to the 6th level of trust. The 6th level of trust is when this individual starts realizing that people are not always as reliable as we might think. So that we need people. We need customers in order to make a living. We need employers in order to make a living. We need business. We need all kinds of different things in order to make a living. But he's starting to realize that there are some times that Hashem is in charge. And that's where in the 6th level is when a person starts realizing that there is a power that is more than just human being, a power that's more than just a worldly matter. And so he says like this, when his perception grows stronger, when the perception of this young individual grows stronger. And he looks more closely at other people, and he sees that there's a problem. I reach out to someone for help, he says he's going to help me, doesn't come through. He might start helping me and then falls apart because he can't finish it. And so he starts realizing that, there's some flaws in the system of trusting other people or even yourself you might not be capable of. And he comes to realize that the person that he's relying on, that person is not going to be around forever either. And so, he can't put full 100% trust in this individual. Yoshev Bitachon Yelav. And this person, he's growing up, he's becoming more, knowledgeable and aware. And he starts shifting his trust to Hashem a little bit. And when a person sees how the people that he trusted turn out to be a disappointment, maybe even sometimes, now he says, I gotta trust in something else. And he relies on him for all those matters in which he has no control. So now in this 6th level, what winds up happening is this young boy who grew up now as an adult, and he realizes that people aren't always reliable. Maybe the businesses that he gets involved in go under, the customers are no longer there, whatever it is. And so now he needs to trust in something that he has no control over. And this is the important part of level 6. Your trust goes to Hashem, but only where you feel you're not in control. So whatever you feel you are in control of, no, that's still you or your people. But wherever you're out of control of, where like Rabbeinu Bechaya says, for instance, says, Kimo Yeridas Hagashama Be'esa Zriya. So you have a farmer plants, right? He does all the things that he could do, is do all the plowing and all the seeding. But rainfall, that's not up to him, obviously. That he can't make that. There's no switch for that. So he relies on Hashem. Or he says, Valichas Hayam, he brings some examples of some other stuff, like when you go in the oceans or against the storms, going through a desert and worrying about, going thirsty. It's certain, he says. He says, because he brings a pasuk and he says in Yirmiyahu, it says, in their time of distress, they say, arise Hashem and save us. Basically saying that only when things get tight and you have no choice, then you turn to Hashem and start realizing that Hashem can help. That's the 6th level. Now comes the 7th level. The 7th level is, he goes like this. But if this young boy is now an adult and his awareness of Hashem grows even stronger, Yiftach boy gam came b'mashi yitochen boy kitzas doch bilo. He will trust in Hashem even for those things in which he may have some control of. So, such as making a living by dangerous means. Now, Rabbeinu Bechaya gives this example of dangerous means, basically saying, you have a job that maybe you're a coal miner or whatever it is, and it's a dangerous job, and you're doing this job anyway, and you have some degree of Bitachon and Hashem. Hashem is going to take care of you, even though you're taking this dangerous job. Now, what I want to repeat is Rabbi Victor Miller's version. Rabbi Victor Miller is funny, American, modern world, and he talks about the different jobs that have hazards. He says, maybe he's a trapeze performer in a circus, or maybe he's a mountain climber or a hunter, right? And he knows that there's a certain degree of risk involved in this. And so he says also maybe he's a wrestler or a day laborer. I love Rabbi Victor Miller. I love what the way he comes up with his ideas. But the idea that he's saying over here is these people, they have these jobs that have a degree of risk involved in it. And maybe if it's even a job that maybe you're in the stock market also, right? And so there's some degree of risk over there. But you still feel that there's a piece of your job that's you, and then obviously there's a piece of the job that's Hashem. And so you're starting to put Hashem into a place that even you might think you have full control of, but at this point you start realizing, no, I'm not in full control, even with my things that I'm capable of. And so he starts realizing in the 7th level that there is that degree of Hashem, and he's starting to incorporate Hashem more and more every single day into his awareness, into his trust, and we're getting closer and closer towards being a fully vested in the concept that Hashem does everything and we're merely here just to do our shtalas, and that is all. And that's the 6th and 7th level of Bitachon that we learned today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today. And as always, I love you all.